Ladies and gentlemen, respected faculty, valued students, and esteemed guests, a very warm welcome to another enlightening episode of the GIBS IRE Talks Series. I'm Dr. Pallavi Vyas, and it is my pleasure to host today's IRE Talks. Design thinking has emerged as a powerful tool for driving innovation and solving complex challenges in today's dynamic world. By focusing on human-centered approaches and fostering creativity, it enables individuals and organizations to generate impactful ideas and navigate uncertainties with confidence. This session will delve into the transformative power of design thinking as we explore its role in sparking ideation, redefining problem solving, and unlocking new possibilities. Join us as we dive into the topic for today, design thinking for ideation, and uncover strategies to turn ideas into actionable solutions. But before we move further, let me quickly introduce to you about GIBS. Before we delve into today's topic, let me tell you that GIBS Business School is a Bangalore-based institution. It is an exclusive business school promoted and driven by IIM alumni, offering top-tier business education. Currently, we provide two flagship programs, the BBA from Bangalore University and the AICTE-approved PGDM program. These courses are very meticulously designed to equip students with the necessary skills and knowledge to thrive in the business world. Our curriculum blends theoretical learning with practical application, guided by experienced faculty and industry experts. With state-of-the-art facilities, corporate partnerships, and a very strong placement cell, GIBS ensures students are well prepared for their professional journeys. Moving further, the GIBS IRE Talks is an initiative of GIBS Business School dedicated to enhancing students' skills in innovation, research, and entrepreneurship. These talks provide a platform for students to interact with industry leaders, successful entrepreneurs, and academic experts. The IRE, which means Innovation, Research, and Entrepreneurship, framework encourages students to develop innovative ideas, conduct significant research, and embark on entrepreneurial ventures. Through these engagements, students gain valuable insights, build professional networks, and boost their confidence, thus preparing them to excel in their careers and make impactful contributions to the business world. We are also delighted to welcome amongst us a very distinguished expert who exemplifies excellence in entrepreneurship, leadership, and sustainability, Mr. Ashutosh Tewari. So I again extend a very warm welcome to you, Mr. Ashutosh. With over 17 years of experience across IT services, management consulting, and supply chain industries, Mr. Tewari has worked across India, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East, delivering impactful solutions across diverse sectors. Passionate about mentoring early-stage SaaS startups, he helps shape their MVPs, value propositions, and go-to-market strategies. His multidisciplinary expertise and engagement in the startup ecosystem have inspired organizations to overcome challenges and drive growth. Let's warmly welcome Mr. Ashutosh Tewari to share his invaluable insights. So the session is all yours, Mr. Tewari. But before we do that, I would just quickly update our participants that we will have a quick question and answer session towards the end of the keynote session. So I encourage everyone to participate very actively. This is really a golden opportunity for you to seek advice and insights from one of the leading minds in the industry. So with this, I welcome you, Mr. Tewari, to take ahead the session.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Pallavi, for the introduction and for the invitation, right? I am really excited. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the GIBS, the senior management, for introducing this concept of IRE, right? So which is, and not just introducing, but having a dedicated practice school for that, right? So I was going through the website. I love this concept that you're doing it across 3 trimesters, 18 credit course. So it is a pretty detailed and pretty intensive course, right? So yes. Again, congratulations to the management and the entire team at GIBS for that.
Thank you so much.
And apart from that, what I like is, again, the way this has been designed, it prepares the students towards having an entrepreneurial mindset, right? So not everyone might end up being an entrepreneur just after graduating from the course, but as long as they have that mindset inculcated in them, it will help them grow in their organizations as well as beyond that. In future, whenever they think of starting their own venture, this is going to be a very serious value add, right? So great initiative from GIBS. I love that, first of all. So with that being said, let me just quickly get started. As Dr. Pallavi mentioned, the topic of today's discussion is how to use design thinking in the early ideation stage, right? So I presume the majority of the audience here is the student community, so they might be toying with certain ideas as part of the curriculum or else vice also as well, right? So I'll just start with this. Before that, certain like basically house rules, ground rules. So again, all of you are aware of the lesson from Gandhiji, right? Yes, no? You can use the chat. Feel free to use the chat. Keep posting, right? So I don't have access to the chat. Just give me a minute, please. Yeah. So please, feel free. But for me, Gandhiji, how do we inculcate Gandhiji's practices in the digital era, right? We all of us are now in an era wherein we are in this mode of hybrid classes, right? So what has Gandhiji said? See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. However, when you are in a Zoom session, you have to do the converse of it, right? Feel free to intervene, come at any point of time. I am happy to take up questions, first of all, number one. And number two is that I'm always even more happier if you guys can turn on your cameras, unmute yourself, and ask the questions directly live. I leave that up to you, but yeah, I have shared my preference over here, right? All right. So with that being said, right? So one question to all of you is, so all of us are looking for the next big idea, right? Is that a yes or a no? Right? Can we? Okay. Dr. Pallavi, have questions been loaded? I had asked for a few questions to be loaded. If not, then we can use the chat box here as well. That I'm fine either ways.
So we will have it launched as a poll. Yes.
Thank you.
This
Thank
is
you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
yes.
So guys, quickly, let's see what are the responses. How many of you are here?
So I would request audience who are here, the poll is already out here. You please put in your responses through the poll.
Yeah. And when I say we are looking for the next big idea, it is at a personal and a professional level, right? It's the scope is very wide. I'm not just restricting it to a startup per se, right? Okay. I'm seeing a good number of participation over here. So good job, guys. Let's give it 10 more seconds. Let's give it a minute, and then probably we can do an end poll. All right. Great. So interestingly, I got 100% response on yes, I'm looking for the next big idea. Right? Okay, let me, a bit of a technical issue from my end. Sorry about that. Yes, guys. So I hope we are back on the screen, the PPT. Yeah. So Dr. Pallavi or anyone else, please feel free to unmute and tell me if the screen is missed out or anything, right? So,
Sure.
okay. Yeah. So, okay. So the thing is, it's very interesting to see that all of you agree that you are looking for your next big idea, right? And that, by the way, includes me as well. Everyone, including myself, is looking for the next big idea. Now comes one more question. I know I'm starting my session with bombarding you with questions, right? So how do we arrive at the next big idea, right? So this was the poll number 2. So if someone from the team can just maybe launch the question, right? So this is an open-ended question. So how do you think you'll get the next idea, right? So that's what I wanted to understand from you guys. Where do ideas come from? So maybe give it like a 5-second, and whatever comes to your mind, top of the mind, feel free to start answering. Right. I guess, okay, the answers are not visible. I guess when I end the poll, then they'll be visible. Let's see.
Yes,
okay.
I think that's
Tech always keeps throwing new challenges. Although I am from the tech industry, but still every day learning something new. Very nice. Okay. So guys, feel free. Like this is okay. I did not tell you guys. So there's there's no right or wrong, number one, and there's no negative marking. So this is not going to be a part of the evaluation process. Don't be scared. Feel free to reply whatever you think, whatever comes to your mind. Right? There's no right or wrong here. Right? So how do you arrive at a solid idea, or you start your ideation process? Okay, maybe we'll give it 30 more seconds, and then we'll give it a pause. So last quiz, someone said that I asked them, like, how do you arrive at a good idea? They said that by having a cup of coffee. I said that also is a fair response. Okay. All right, guys. I'm giving a pause, but feel free to use the chat box. And okay, I don't see where can I see any idea, ma'am, where can I see the responses, or if you can see the responses?
No, even I can't see.
Guys, so can you, okay, that's a bit of a repeat. Can you put it back in the chat box? No problem. Let's request everyone to put it in the chat.
Sure.
Guys, feel free to use the Q&A box for this. I guess that's open to all of you, right?
Yes, that is open, and the respondents can put their responses here in the chat box.
Okay. While we are waiting for that, maybe you guys need some time to think about it. That's okay. So let's proceed from here, right? So again, for me, there are multiple things which go into the process of ideation. So let's try to do the bifurcation between what's an idea, what is ideation, right? They sound very similar, but English can be confusing at times. So let's try to see what is the difference, right? So idea is an end product or the final result of the process of ideation, right? So you start thinking, and once you complete your thought process is when you arrive at an idea, right? So that's the fundamental difference. And what we are discussing here again. Okay, thank you guys. I can see responses started coming up. Subhashri has mentioned curiosity, creation, and passion. Great. By observing things around and seeing the challenges. Okay, that's from Indu. And Mohammed Yusuf is saying holistic experiences. Great, guys. So I like the thought process that you guys are applying over here. So what happens at the end of the ideation process, like I said, is an idea, right? So what do you do with an idea? You make a plan, right? How many of you make plans, right? Every weekend, every time when you're free, just among your friend group, you start discussing random ideas, and those ideas end up becoming plans, right? For example, how many of you have made Goa plans? Let's see quickly. Quick raise of hands. How many of you have made your plans? Yep, I can see that. So yeah, Goa plans are always made, never to be followed up, right? Similar. So okay. So yeah, so we keep making plans, but at times what happens is that those plans never materialize. Okay, yeah. Hope I'm back to my slide. Okay. So what is the process? So typically what happens is that you start with an ideation, you end up with an idea, you make a plan, and then you keep your fingers crossed and hope that the plan is a success, right? That happens to all of us, whether we are dealing with our day-to-day life issues, or we are making our Goa plans, or we are making our startup plans, right? That is how we think that life is, right? You make a plan, you start working towards the plan, and you have an end goalpost where you reach, and your plan is a success, right? But what happens in reality, right? So is this what does this make sense to you? Are you able to relate to it? Say a yes or a no in the chat box, or you can raise your hand, right? The plan versus actual, right? So anyone from production or operations background might have heard this word, plan versus actual, right? So this is what happens to all our majority of our plans, not all, but yeah. We made a plan. Created a WhatsApp group. Everyone was hyper excited in the start. Then suddenly the excitement vanished. Few people followed through, and in the end, maybe let's say less than 10% of it gets executed, right? So that is always the difference between planned versus reality, right? And let's try to understand why this kind of a gap emerges over here, right? And it is not just us, right? Okay, let's make this very very clear, right? So it is not just us at an individual level. You all are students of management, and you all are studying different case studies and examples, right? Even the largest of the corporations go through this cycle, right, of the slippage which is happening between the cup and the tea, or the planned versus actual, right? I wanted to take this example. This is a company which I deeply admire. I myself take this as an example in multiple courses that I teach, right? So all of you are well aware of Tata Motors. I don't need to give you a background what is Tata Motors and what do they do, right? So very interestingly, Tata Motors somewhere around the early 2000s is they were there. They did a lot of customer research, and they came up with customer insights through which they launched a product which you see on the left hand side of the screen, which is called Tata Ace, right? And one more name which was popular for Tata Ace in Hindi. Let's see who knows that name, or you can use the chat box and fill up the name over there if you guys remember the name or have heard of it. Let's see. So Tata Ace was basically coming out from the ideation process wherein they saw that there are small businesses, number one, who need a affordable means of transport. Now, number three is that what they are moving is something which is less than truckload. I'm using a bit of a logistics jargon here. LTL is basically when you have seen those big trucks. If your load is less than the truckload, LTL it literally means LTL, and FTL, full truckload. LTL is less than truckload. Even if you're moving less than truckload, the truck owner is charging you the full amount, right? The fare is charged full in full. They don't say that. You tell them that it's only 20% of it. Charge me 20% of your entire fee. They'll say no, right? So this is the customer insight through the ideation process through which they arrived at this product, which is called Tata Ace, right? So anyone what was able to make a guess of the nickname of Tata Ace? Oh, what is happening? I am not able to. Chota Hathi. Okay. Subhashri, Mohammed Yusuf. Excellent. You guys are paying close attention. Yeah, you're right. So they launched this product, which was again a product which was a huge success. And till that time, Tata Motors was primarily a company which was focused on commercial vehicle segment. Right. This also inspired them and triggered them towards moving in the passenger vehicle segment. And can we replicate the success of Tata Ace in the passenger vehicle segment? And what you see next on the next screen, on the right hand side of the screen, is a product we are all well aware of. I am a bit emotional about the product, right? I love the product. It was a fiasco for us, right? So your process can go delve into them later stages. But yeah, so when they launched Tata Nano, right, it was a fiasco, right? So this is where I wanted to give you a comfort that don't worry, it's not just the Goa plans which are often collapse. It is also the plans which are made by the biggest of the corporations, which hire and employ the best of the minds, be it marketing, be it finance, be it operations, be it production. So even the best of the minds at times cannot gauge the markets. So guys, relax, nothing to worry about. This is all a part of life. Right? By the way, it's a very interesting thing to study this contrast. I love this contrast. I talk about it in detail in my class sessions as well. Right. So with that being said, right. So I have till now I talked about what ideation is not. If you realize, right, what I was talking about is ideation is not like a creative process. Ideation is not like an emotional journey. Ideation also doesn't work rationally at times, right? You pick up an Excel sheet, you build your numbers, you do your modeling, you do whatever, and the end result might be very, very different from reality, right? So for me, the way I look at ideation is basically the passion to solve problems, right? If you have the prerequisite and the core is if you have the passion to solve problems, right? So you are able to go take the ideation route, right? So and there's one author whom I love. His name is Mark Manson. He has written a couple of very interesting books, which are somewhere between self-help and management as well, bit of it. So he talks about this thing is that taking up problems which you are passionate to about, right? So there, every problem will bring its own set of headache. So which is the headache that you want to take on yourself, and which is the problem that you want to solve? That is the entire process. The ideation is basically you find out things that you want to solve. You say that come what may, I want to arrive at possible solutions for this problem. That may work or may not work. That's where the entrepreneurial mindset comes in. You're aware that this is going to be a journey which is going to have its ups and downs. I have no clue where am I heading, but I will take a shot. I will attempt to solve and see where does life take me, right? So are things making sense till now? Guys, just keep posting your comments, feedback on the chat box, right? Yeah. And okay, with that, okay, ma'am, we can skip that for now. That's fine. We'll
Sure.
take up the question number 4 later.
You let me
Is
know. I will post the poll,
yeah.
but if you would want to know the responses of the previous poll, I have them with me now. So you just let me know if you
Okay.
would. Hmm?
Sure, ma'am. Let's hear it out because the students have put in some efforts to this. Let's hear out and see
Yes, sure,
what
sure.
what.
So I'll just quickly tell you the different responses that we have received. So they have said curiosity and new topic or new problems in the society, innovation, design thinking, confidence. Many people have said design thinking. Somebody has said problem solving and imagination. Then somebody says ideas come from old resources and using it with new strategy. Then again, design thinking, experiences and observations through their holistic experiences because of a problem, and again curiosity. So these are the different responses that they've given for where do ideas come from.
Okay, great, guys. I love the thought process, and I also love it that you guys wrote design thinking. That's a safe guess in the session, right? So, okay. Anyways, so yeah. So, like I said, for me, anyways, the process of ideation. I asked this question to you: that how do you ideate, right? So, for me, the process there is no single. Don't have an easy answer to that question, right? For me, it is just having that curiosity and a problem-solving mindset. That's it. Else everything else is like there's an old saying that like an entrepreneur is someone who jumps from the aeroplane and builds a parachute on the way down, right? So that is how things are. You have no clue where you're heading, how you're heading. You take up whatever resources you have at hand and you attempt to solve problems using them, right? You know very well that that is what reality is, right? You accept the reality and just try to see what you can do with that. And with that being said, like I said, so one of the approaches to problem solving, right? So how do you arrive at a problem solving mindset, right? Again, this is something which happens via practice over the years. It's not something which people are born with, right? So again, nature versus nurture, right? One of the favorite topics that is there for research for so many years. So are entrepreneurs made or are they born, right? So this is a constant tussle which is going on. A lot of researches are still going on this topic. No one has a clear answer to it, right? So, but again, one way in which this can be structurally inculcated into and put into practices using the design thinking methodology. Why do I say that? Again, this is one of my favorite examples, my favorite quotes from English is that when you have a hammer in your hand, everything looks like a nail, correct? Right? So what happens, right? What typically happens is that I have a certain skill set, right? Or a certain expertise, right? Or a certain mindset. I will only look at the things around me with that lens, right? It's very difficult for me to look at things the other way around, right? So I give this example of a dear friend of mine. He's based out of Delhi. He is an amazing tech person. He is an amazing tech person. He dropped out from university in his second year, and after that he started doing coding on his own. And today he is at a pretty good level, right? But the challenge with him is that he is good in software delivery. Right? You give him a problem, he'll solve it for you. Right? He has been attempting to become an entrepreneur for the last 20 years. Right? We are very close friends. We discuss almost on a weekly basis. We have a call. What are you working on? What are you working? He gets excited on something. He'll come to me, tell me that I have built, and his typically the call starts with at late at night. He'll call me. I have built something I want to show you, and he'll send me a link, and he wants me to jump on the call immediately, and he'll demo me something, right? I'll go through the demo. I'll say excellent to you again. You are good technically. You have made a nice user interface. UI UX everything sorted. But what is the problem you're trying to solve, and for whom? So he will tell me something that I saw this. The moment I ask him that, did you go and speak to your customers? His answer is no. Right. And this happens time and again, time and again, time and again. He's attempted to launch. He has been a big failure when it comes to product launches. But again, he's an excellent person when it comes to software delivery. Why? Because again, he has a hammer in his hand, and the hammer is basically the coding skill. That's the reason which prevents him from going speaking to the customer, identifying the problem. Right? That ideation never happens, and that's why he's stuck over there, right? So, you guys, all of you have your skill set. Right? You have your technical skill set. You're inculcating your management skill set while you're studying your bachelor's and your master's courses. Those are very good, right? But again, you need to be accepting that okay, there can be other perspectives as well, and taking up, right? So that's the reason design thinking is something which forces you to let me take a pause from what I know, and going to that again very philosophical, I know that I don't know kind of a mindset, and then trying to look at things, right? So if I have to do a breakdown, what is design thinking all about? Design thinking is typically explained in like a 5-step process, right? You may have covered this in your courses, right? So empathy, define, ideate, prototype, test, right? This is typically like a 5-step process. Let me quickly give you a quick walkthrough of the process, right? And what is the way I look at it, right? For me, what is empathy? Empathy, the classic definition says that put yourself in the user's shoe. I always counter that it's not possible. I am a person A, he is a person B. I can never be in that person's shoe. I can never be in his mindset. All I can do is I can listen and try to understand, right? So I love this. This is one of my friends' definition. He is a trained clinical psychologist, right? He says that yeah, for the empathy is listening with the intent to understand and not respond, right? All of us, we are hardwired to respond, right? It's evening. It's about to be evening now. You open the TV from 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. What will happen on all the news channels? Everyone is shouting. No one wants to listen, right? So we have to attempt to do the reverse, right? So when you are attempting to empathize, you have to shut down. Right? You ask something to a person, and then you have to shut down and listen. By the way, active listening is a skill, right? Again, I'm moving to my friend who is a clinical psychologist. He takes care counseling cases. He says that 1 hour of active listening will drain your body, that you need at least 2 to 3 hours of rest after that. That is how intensive a session can be. He says that on an average, he cannot take more than 2 to 3 sessions in a day. That is enough to completely drain him down if you're doing active listening. So again, it is a difficult trait, but it is worth exploring and worth learning that trait, right? So that is step number 1 in the design thinking process, right? What is step number 2 is define. So again, all of you are studying right now. So I give this example that when you are a student, life is easy. Why? Because you study something and you have your end of semester exam on which you get a printed sheet of paper which has got questions written on it, which means the problem has been defined for you, right? All you need to do is answer the problem, right? But what happens in real life as a management consultant, when I post MBA, I was very excited. I know so many things. I know GAN, I know strategy, I know marketing. I happily joined management consulting. I stepped into a client's location. And that is where, to my frustration, I asked my engagement manager, okay, what are we solving? He looked at me and he said that first we have to find out what is the problem. And to me, it took me a long to absorb that. But that is what reality is, right? Unlike your end of semester exam where you get the problems printed on a piece of paper, in real life, you have to go out, explore, and then arrive at a definition of the problem. Right? Again, how do you define the how there are certain ways you can run surveys, you can do interviews, you can do focus group discussions. There are different ways in which you can collect the information, right? And there are different tools, right? For example, 5 Whys is one tool which I really love, right? So this was tested out in Japan, right? So Toyota Corporation is a company which has done a lot of research into quality. So they found that the most complex problems that they could think of could be solved if we are using this 5 Whys sequentially, right? So you can read up about that. We don't have the right time right now. Yeah. A couple of other ways are root cause analysis, fishbone analysis, different ways in which you can do like a causal analysis. You can reach to the base of the problem, right? Step number 3 is okay, guys. Before that, if you realize this session is about ideation, and ideation is not the starting point of design thinking, right? Typically, our assumption is what? Think, plan, execute, right? That is our standard assumption, right? But if you noticed here in the design thinking process, ideation comes as step number 3, not even 1, not even 2. It is at step number 3, right? So you can ideate, you need to understand the person or the situation or the issue, number 1. Number 2 is you need to narrow down the problem. Okay, this is the person, this is the issue that the person is facing, and now let me start thinking, right? And this is where I typically, if I'm using a whiteboard, I draw a line right at the center, right? I cut ideation into half, right? So what happens pre is empathy, define, and half of ideate is, I call it the problem space, right? And the second half of ideation, prototype testing, is the solution space. So ideation is right at the center of the problem space and solution space. So ideation is where you are trying to merge both the things, right? You are trying to find the problem, what is the solution, and can I arrive at a consensus over there, right? So this to me is where ideation is in the entire journey, right? I hope this is making sense, right? What happens? So, like I said, ideation is basically the transition. It's like a partition wall between the problem space and the solution space. Okay, so you understood who is facing the problem, what is the problem, and you have ideated on the possible solutions, right? If you can see my screen, I don't know how clearly visible my screen is. For example,
it is clear.
Great.
And we can zoom in at our end as well. So I think it's
okay. Excellent. So you see, like, I think all of us face this problem of getting distracted, right? So we are at the lowest attention span in human civilization, right? So a goldfish has got an attention span of about 4 to 5 seconds. We are below that as of now, right? So we are hyper distracted right now, right? So this is a mind map that someone created. This exercise, by what you see, by the way, in front of you, is called a mind map. This is a beautiful idea, right? Again, please make a note of this word mind map. You can research on this, and yeah, I'll be happy to run a mind map session as well. But yeah, this is essentially what you can use to generate ideas. So you can generate ideas in different directions. See where does it take you, right? So this is what you can see is that we have created the problem space. We have worked towards finding the solution. What do we do next? Next is basically step number 4 in the design thinking process, which is prototyping, right? I personally love this as an example, right? So I'll just give you a bit of a context here. So what you see in front of you is the shoe brand Nike, right? Nike had launched a product. The name of the shoe is called Go Fly Ease, right? This product, what was the trigger of this product was this boy that you see in the center of the screen wearing the gray t-shirt. This boy, he unfortunately suffers from a medical condition which makes him lose the control of the muscles on his arms and legs, right? Because of that, his biggest frustration in life was that I am a teenager, right? So teen is a time when you're having this where like you're a rebel or a bully, right? So you say that I want to do everything myself. I'm independent, this, that, so many thoughts, right? He said, I am a rebel when it comes to everything else in my life. But one place where I actually feel that I am a person with limited abilities is when it comes to tying my shoes. Because that time he was using a shoes which had shoelaces, and he had to take someone else's help tie the shoes. If they open, then again someone help to again tie them again. He was very frustrated. He reached out to Nike. He wrote an email to them. That mail is available. You can search for it. That can you find some solution for me, right? So Nike again started the ideation process. They did the empathy. If you see the person next to him, so these are the people, the employees of Nike. They spend about 4 years with this person, not one, not two, 4 years with this person in doing the empathy exercise and doing the entire design thinking. So they started building solutions with him, co-building the solution with the customer, right? What you see on the bottom left of your screen is a prototype, right? That looks very ugly, correct, right? But it is for testing the idea. So they realized that the shoe has to be designed in such a way that the person cannot use or is not in a position to use his hands. So the shoes has to bend and open. The leg goes in. The weight, the pressure of the leg should lock the shoe. Right? Sounds very simple to all of us, right? But again, it took them 4 years to basically refine the idea. So this is so what you see on the bottom left is the prototype. What you see on the top right of your screen is the final finished product, right? So again, prototyping and testing, if you see, the way I look at it, they go hand in hand, right? Why do you prototype and test? I call it a circle of build, measure, and learn, right? You build something, you measure the outcomes, the effectiveness, you take the customer feedback, and that is like jotted down as your learnings, and you go and build again. This is an iteration. This is an iterative loop, whether you're building a physical product or a virtual product, whether you're building a software product or a shoe, it doesn't matter. You go through this exercise of build, measure, learn time and again, till you are in a position to launch your first product, right? And I love a beautiful definition. That's what I really love, is a definition of prototype, right? If there's a Reid Hoffman, who is one of the co-founders for LinkedIn, his definition is that if you're not ashamed of the first version of your product, you have launched too late. I repeat that. This guy try to absorb this, right? If you're not ashamed of the first version of your product, you have launched too late. So again, please remember, keep in mind, even your version one of your product will never be perfect, and it's never meant to be perfect, right? Go and search for Amazon website version 1. You guys will be shocked, right? Today probably a kid who is studying in probably 5th or 6th standard can build a better website, right? But that is what Jeff Bezos built and launched. His thing was, let me go to the market first and let customers start using it. Let customers admire it. Let customers throw back stones at me. I'm okay with both. Let me first launch, and then I'll start my build, measure, learn exercise. So that's a beautiful example, right? So always remember this. Whenever you have an idea in your head, go through the process, do a quick and dirty launch, right? One last example before I wrap up is an example of a company which was launched from the city where you guys are based out of. The name of the company is Zepto, right? I'm sure all of you have heard of Zepto, right? So Zepto is doing basically the intra-city delivery, right? So when the founding team of Zepto, they came up with the idea, what they did was they did not even wait for building a website or an app. What they did was they launched the version 1 of their solution on WhatsApp. And this, by the way, was before there was WhatsApp for Business. So they just used WhatsApp to reach out to their customers. Right. So again, and post that is how they have grown. Now they are a unicorn company. Right. So guys, always keep these things in mind. Right. So how do you go through the entire process? Is you take the five steps, right? You launch something. And by the way, design thinking is never like a linear process. Design thinking is always like, you might be at prototyping. Suddenly you get because you continue your empathy exercise while you're prototyping as well, right? You might get some fresh insights from your customers, and that will lead you back to the drawing board, and you might launch something which you never intended to launch, right? So things can happen either way. So this is always a very fluid process. All things are happening in parallel. Just keep these things in mind. And like I said, again, my thing is that this is just one way in which you can look at solving your problems. Yep. And okay, so Dr. Pallavi, where are we on in terms of time?
So we have a couple of more minutes, Mr. Ashutosh, and there are a lot of questions that people have posted. So you let me know how you would want to.
Excellent. So, ma'am, what I'll do in that case is I'll just do a wrap up of this, and we can immediately jump into Q&A just immediately after that.
Sure.
Just so, guys, just to quickly wrap up what I was discussing with you, right? So, what is the entire process of ideation, and when you combine ideation and design thinking, right? What is that, right? So, first of all, you come up with a methodical process. You try to bring method to madness, right? Number two is you start becoming fact or data driven. You start having logic behind everything that you're doing, facts and rationale. And like I said, it's an iterative process. Last but not the least, I want you to spend quick 5 seconds looking at the image that you see on the right hand side of your screen, right? So if you notice one thing over here, I always believe that whether when we talk of innovation and entrepreneurship, it has to come from thinking inside the box, right? So all of us are aware of this word, thinking outside the box. Thinking outside the box is you go in all directions. But in reality, what happens? Again, plan versus reality. In reality, we always have constraints, right? Constraints of time, constraints of money, constraints of resources. Therefore, in reality, what we need to do is we need to think inside the box to complete our ideation process, design thinking, and successfully launch products or services, right? So let me guys take a pause over here. I think I've spoken more than I was supposed to. Over to you guys now. I will do more the listening and try to answer your questions.
So I'll just take up the questions, Mr. Ashutosh. They've already posted their questions. So with your permission, I'll just quickly tell you the questions here. In fact, some of them you have already answered while you were talking about design thinking. Like somebody was asking what is it exactly and how is it different from other problem solving methods? I think you've already answered that question through your discussion that we were having. So I'll just quickly go to the questions that are not answered. Let's say, for example, somebody is saying, how do you think design thinking can be applied in non-design fields like healthcare or education? And probably also for small businesses, how can they apply design thinking cost effectively? So if you could, I've just put two questions together.
Okay, deja vu. So Dr. Pallavi, actually, I skipped that slide in which I had taken an example from healthcare sector.
All right.
And again, I had taken an example from your city, which is Bangalore. There is a healthcare, no, I'll not call it a startup, it's a pretty big company. Are you guys aware of a person whose name is Dr. Devi Shetty?
Yes, of course. Everybody in Bangalore is aware.
Yeah. So
the audience.
Excellent. That's the reason I thought maybe I'll pick up that as an example.
Yeah.
So Dr. Devi Shetty is one of the leading heart surgeons in the world, right? He has a specialty in doing open heart surgeries on newborn babies. He's among probably, I don't remember the number, but he's among the top 100. Probably there are only 100 surgeons in the world. He's one of them. That's the kind of hyper niche he's into, right? Number one. Number two is that we are all aware that healthcare is a very cost intensive area, right? So when you're talking healthcare, and especially now imagine doing a cardiac health, right? He is a person, his innovation is that he brought down the cost of cardiac surgeries to 1/20th of a cost in a typical hospital. And how he did it, in the interest of time, I'll just spend 2 minutes. So sure. Imagine now I'm talking of a factory line. So if you have seen, or if you can just imagine, in a factory, what happens is there are rows which are made. So imagine, let's say Tata Motors, right? So Tata Motors is making cars, right? So each line will have the car body will be loaded, right? And then it will move sequentially ahead, and at each step, one technician will do something, right? So one technician will put the left tire, one will put the right tire, one will put the front tire, back tires, one will put the glass, one will do this. So it will go sequentially, right? In the end, the final car is assembled and it is rolled out, right? So that he took inspiration using the design thinking process from that, right? So he said, in an operation theater, who is the most expensive resource is the heart surgeon, right? Now I'm talking of Dr. Devi Shetty's time, that he is that kind of a person. His time is extremely precious. So the OT and the OT process was designed in a way to optimize his time. Now imagine that there are 5 surgeries which are happening, which are supposed to happen, right? So how they structured it using the thinking is that the surgery one, let's say, starts at 10 a.m. Surgeries 2 start 30 minutes late at 10:30. Surgery 3 starts at 11. So 30 minutes staggering, right? Now Dr. Devi Shetty enters the OT, works on this patient for in the entire surgery. His role is about 10 to 15 minutes. The actual surgery can last between 6 to 8 hours. Typical surgery lasts between 6 to 8 hours. Cooperative surgery lasts up to 18 hours. But his role is just that 15-20 minutes. He will complete surgery on OT1, on the table 1. He will move to table 2. He'll move to table 3. He'll move to table 4. He enters the theater. He can come out doing 10 surgeries. Oh. So that is how beautifully he implemented design thinking. You guys can look it up. There are ample interviews in which David Shetty has talked about how he has implemented that in the hospital. Or if you get a chance, please visit.
Sure. So thank you for that answer, and I hope it is clear to our audience as well. So I will take the next question here, wherein somebody has asked, Ms. Josephine has asked, what are some common challenges faced during the ideation phase, and how can they be overcome?
So again, based on my experience as well as what I talk to to my mentees, see the common challenge is like what we experience right now in the session, right? When we talk about this thing, right, people are like kind of taken back. So immediately ideas will never flow out. So it's not going to happen, right? Even the so-called most creative person in the world, the people working in the most creative fields, if you go and ask them, right, they will tell you clearly it doesn't happen that way. I have a friend who is working, he was writing movie scripts, right? So that doesn't happen that way. So it is like you go into the zone, like I said, you go into the problem space. You have to do the empathy. You have to try to define the problem, and somewhere in between it will start popping. And the moment it starts popping up, you will be filled with ideas. Right? That's where the ideation phase is. Right? You allow every idea to flow out. You don't restrict the idea at that same time. Let 20 ideas, 30 ideas. And I typically run a design thinking session. Right? There is a phase which comes in between, in which there is like 15 to 20 minutes of dead silence in the class. And everyone is writing down. So it's a flow which happens only once you have gone through the initial parts, right? I hope that makes sense.
If I could ask, in addition to what you just answered, if I can ask a follow-up question. So when you say write down your ideas, they have to be written like a mind map, like a diagram which you had shown us, or whatever comes to you, we just are making a note of it and scribbling in a notepad, let's say. So does design thinking necessarily involve those kind of mind maps?
So again, I do a brain dump. I call it a brain dump. Brain dump is just in my head on a paper. I'm not doing any filtering. Okay, I'm a bit biased towards pen and paper, right? So I still find comfort in using a pen and paper, but I leave it up to others, right? If you are more comfortable on the screen, so be it. But use something which is a notepad kind of a thing on the digital version also. Don't try to structure it too much. First, let the dump happen. Right? First, keep dumping, and then you start seeing that so first you did a dump. Let's say you came up with about 20 ideas. Right? Then you start clustering. Okay, can I bunch these ideas? Can I bunch these? That might come up with about 4 to 5 clusters. Right? Now, am I seeing any kind of a pattern here? Right? Are these ideas, if I'm using like in a management consulting word, MECE, MECE, mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. Okay. So am I doing, so this is from the book McKinsey Mind. It's an excellent book to read. Again, throwing always in my sessions, I do book recommendations. So please guys, if before your interviews, please read McKinsey Mind. And there's one more I'll recommend shortly. So yeah, first you do the brain dump, then you do the clustering, then you start looking at where all are the ideas leading. Then you start building your mind map or whichever tool you're using for refining the idea.
All right, sure, sure. Thank you so much. So, in fact, there is one question which somebody had asked to suggest books or online resources to better understand design thinking. So, I think you already said it. You would took one name and working with, okay, Daniel Goleman's Working with Emotional Intelligence. All right.
My one of my favorites. So one
All
of my favorites. Please do read. Yeah, and design thinking again, like I said, is again it's a very hands-on thing. So I will not say spend too much time on the process per se, but yeah, looking at this. So again, building your emotional intelligence. So that's one thing. Right? This guy, he's won a Nobel Prize in this. If you know about Daniel Goleman, yeah, ma'am, you're aware, but yeah, the students, please read up Daniel Goleman. He is an amazing person to read.
Agree, agree. All right. And somebody has also asked what qualities should a facilitator possess to guide a design thinking session effectively? So probably they might want to know the kind of skill sets which a design thinker should have or qualities that they should possess. So anything specifically you think is required?
So again, there are two things over here. So one is if you're running a session for a broad general audience, right? Then you can pick up vague examples. You can build on that. And yeah, like I said, this is a very interactive process. So it's not a theory. Like for me, when I am doing a design thinking workshop, it takes about two to 3 days. Wherein I let so it's me taking the backstage. Most of the times, it's where I'm sitting on the back. The class is spread across with chart papers, with post-it, with whatever, and they are the ones who are driving things. Right? I'm only there just to maybe ask or solve a few questions for them, right? Secondly, is if you're doing it for a particular segment, like when you're doing, let's say, an FDP, in which you're doing an FDP on design thinking for a particular sector, let's say automobile, healthcare, whichever, right? So this is that is when you'll have to, as a facilitator, you have to read up, be very specific, pick up case studies. So there are some very good case studies on the IB publication and multiple other platforms. Right? You pick up those and try to use them in the sessions. Or if you can have time, like what I tend to do if I have the time is I visit the organization first, sit with the management of the organization and understand from them if there is anything they want to take up in those sessions. So then I basically take up those things, sanitize them, of course, based on this, and then I take those live examples and try to run the session on them.
Sure, sure. And are there any specific tools as well? Any software tools to facilitate design thinking, let's say workshop, or in general, if somebody wants to use it for themselves? Do you have any such softwares or tools which you could use?
There are multiple softwares, but again, like I said, I am more biased towards the pen and a paper mode.
Yeah. And somewhere,
but yeah, there are ample.
Those softwares and tools may again probably limit your own thought process. Is that possible?
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. All right. So somebody who's not too pro technology would prefer a pen and a paper kind of a thing, and people who now like to work digitally, for them probably a software or a tool may be more effective. All right. And what is the role of storytelling in design thinking?
Again, storytelling for me, since I am a qualitative researcher, I'm also pursuing my PhD right now in social entrepreneurship, is for me, it is all about, see, when you do your empathy exercise, right, you speak to people, right? You speak to people, you ask them questions, they will tell you something, right? And how do you arrive from there at a conclusion? How do you summarize that, right? So this is where storytelling is very, very important. So you pick up those themes which are emerging from there, right? You start picking up those themes from your 10, 20, 30, 50 conversation. And then you start combining those themes. And then you see, are these themes collective in nature or are these things very specific in nature? So that's very, very important. So in fact, not just in design thinking, I encourage every student to learn the art of storytelling. When you have to sell yourself, when you're sitting in the interviews, it is all about the art of storytelling. You have to build your story and explain the story in a way that I'm the best person that you can find and hire me.
Yes, agree. So probably I'll take one last question. Are there any criteria for evaluating which ideas to pursue after the ideation phase? So do we specifically look at something or?
Again, great question, first of all. And see, this is where the beauty of this process is, right? So what you do is that you you try to build a list, right? So again, the feasibility, viability is one thing that you check. So is it feasible? Feasible, when I say feasible, I mean that am I technically equipped to do this, right? So I am fascinated with Elon Musk. I'm fascinated with his SpaceX, right? But am I anywhere close to having those technical skills to build a rocket, right? Yes or no, right? Else it is only an idea that will be parked somewhere. So again, do I have the tools and the feasibility to do it? Number one, and if that test is passed, then viable. Viability is all in the financial terms, right? Can I produce something at a cost wherein the customer is willing to buy it? Right? Quick example here is this concept of lab grown meat, right? So many people who were against animal cruelty, they said that we should not slaughter animals for human consumption, right? So what is the solution? Some people came up with fake meat, right, using soya bean and all those things. There was a third school of thought. They said that I will take one cell from the animal, right, one or two cells, which will not harm the animal in any way. I will take it, put it in a petri dish. I'll grow an entire pound of meat from that, right? So concept is amazing, correct? Technically feasible. Now the only thing is that the first iteration of it, 1 pound of meat was costing $100. So again, feasible, yes, viable, no. So when you're doing your the step 4 and the step 5, that's where first of all you don't kill an idea. You start doing the prototyping and seeing that can I do it? So prototyping is when you convert your idea into some shape and form in which it is tangible, that customer can touch and feel it, right? And this is where you come up with, okay, does it make sense? Doable? Yes. No. Let it go through the cycle and then take a call. That's my suggestion.
Right. So this we come to an end to today's session, and before we wrap up, I just want to tell you that our respondents have said that thank you so much for this wonderful session. I think they've had great learning, and all of them have said the same thing: amazing session, and they all have enjoyed it. So with this, we come to an end to today's session, and I extend our sincerest gratitude to Mr. Ashutosh Tewari for today's session. Your insights and experiences, specifically with regards to design thinking, with respect to ideation for any sort of business, was very, very insightful. Your experience that you shared with us is really invaluable to us all, and I'm sure to all the participants who were present for today's session. And also, I extend a very warm thanks to all our audience. Your participation and enthusiasm have made today's discussion all the more enriching. So I think the kind of questions that you all have posed to Mr. Ashutosh, they were very meaningful and added great value to today's session. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. And with this, we come to a close to today's session, but we will be back very soon with another insightful episode of GIBS IRE Talks. Until then, please follow our speakers and GIBS on social media to stay updated on upcoming events. The recording of today's talk will be available on our YouTube channel, and e-certificates will also be sent out soon. So thank you so much, Mr. Ashutosh, for joining us today, and I wish you a great evening.
Thank you again. So first of all, thank you, Dr. Pallavi. You have been a great host over here. Thank you for the coordination, looking at the questions and compiling them, everything over there. I would also like to thank Neetu. She did a great job in chasing me time and again, getting things done on time. So her follow-up is something which really helped for me.
We count upon her.
Yeah,
we count upon her.
She is amazing. She is amazing. And also, like I said, I'm really I really like what you're doing at IRE. Right. I love to explore this whenever I visit Bangalore or in any way if you want. I'll be happy to contribute towards the practice school. And again, my sincere thanks to the entire management of GIBS for coming up with this concept and propagating it not just in the internal student community, but to the wider audience using the social media channels.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much for acknowledging that. And in fact, whenever you are in Bangalore, please do drop in. We would love to have you at GIBS campus itself. In fact, we do multiple things, and we would really want you to experience them firsthand when you visit our campus. So please do let us know, sir, whenever you are in Bangalore. We would love to host you here. And yes, through various ways, we've been trying to spread this word about innovation, research, and entrepreneurship. And I think we're taking steps every day, every week, every year. We've been growing with that regards. And thank you so much for that support, sir. It's only because of researchers or entrepreneurs like you who have been associating with us and are available for your talks. So thank you so much, sir. And do let us know when you're in town.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thanks again. Thank you. You too.
Thank you.